Hi, I'm Dan and welcome to this week's Elements Developer Diary. Now, I've got a few things to cover this week, but first of all, I want to say thank you for the feedback we had last week. Now, last week was a busy week. We published 2 developer diaries, and this is mainly to address people's feedback and concerns. And I have to say, the feedback we got from you guys was absolutely overwhelming, and it really gave us a boost, and it was so nice to hear your thoughts after we published those videos, and it's really nice to have this open dialogue and keep getting this feedback from you guys. So thank you to everyone that commented. It is really appreciated, and we read through them all, and we've given everything lots of thought. And that is really, as you should know by now, that it really affects the way we develop elements and the features that we add and the changes we're making. So let's cover beta 12, which should be out as you watch this video, so you can follow along, see the changes. And then at the end of the video, I was just going to talk about what we're going to work on next. And again, that's based on your feedback. So I've got this demo website here, and I will publish this along with the video so you can download this and check the things we've added and have a play around. So the first thing I want to touch on is the grid. And I'm pleased to say we have finally, really this time, fixed the grid preview. Now, this little feature is to show the columns as an overlay on the grid, so you can kind of see your layout. So let me just switch this on, and there you can see the 12 columns, and that should make it easier for you to align your grid item. So if I take this one here, let's do this grid item, and you can see it's at 6, so that's using 6 of these columns, and I can bring that down, and you can see it's using 3 there, and open it up, and I can go all the way to 12. So it's a way to align content and just gives you kind of that extra visual guide if you need it. Now, this is only in edit mode. This won't be published. So this is purely for editing. It's not a visual thing you would want to publish anyway. So that really works. The other thing we fixed is the debug markers from last week. They no longer show in preview. So let's go and preview the site. So you can see I've got some nice animation here, and there's no debug markers. Yeah, I'm not sure what happened last week. A few bugs that shouldn't have been in there did sneak into the build. So I do apologize for that, but it sometimes happens, and that's what betas are all about. And we're going to have these issues in the betas because we're releasing them every week. So it's not like when we do standard releases, they go through a lot more testing and we make sure everything works. But with these betas, because they are like literally every week, and that's a really fast pace, sometimes things get missed and things aren't checked, and they make it into the build. But that's all the fun of beta testing. Now, the other thing that's fixed is animations, as you saw there. So finally, I know they were supposed to be working last week, but they weren't. But now these animations work. So you can play around with those. And again, that's in this file here. So if I pick the classes card here, we can change the scroll effects. So we can change the way this moves in, because if I refresh this, you can see these fade in and out. And there is a bit of a jerk here, and this is because of my Safari plugins are loading. So you shouldn't see a jerk when these load, but if you do, it might be because you've got a plugin that's interfering with it. You'll probably be fine. Anyway, these scroll effects now work. So as I scroll down here, you can see this moves, and these are scrolling in. So if we go back to here, I've got my global classes card, and I've got scroll effects selected, and we can change some parameters on here. So I can make we can change the way they move in. So I'll do, let's do back out, and that should give a bit of a bounce on it. Let's try that. So we'll scroll down, and you can see they go in and they overlap a little bit there before they move off. And to make things even more exciting, what we could do, we could scale them so that they zoom down, and let's rotate them. Let's refresh the page there. So now when I scroll down, they're quite jazzy, and they spin in and out like that. which I wouldn't build the website like this, but you could if you wanted to. But it shows, you know, how this stuff is fun to play with. And you can do lots of crazy things with this. So that's all working. So you can go and have a play with this and yeah, get to know it a bit better and see how it works and just do some nice effects. Because it doesn't all have to be big jazzy effects like we have here. You can see this subtly fades in when the page loads, and this slightly moves down. We'll ignore those big jazzy things. And down here, this blurs in and appears. So let's refresh that. So you can see that's blurring and appearing. So really nice subtle effects. So you can do lots of things. You can do what you like. So have a play with that. See how you get on, and do give us your feedback on that. Does it do what you want it to do? Yeah. So check that out. That's all good. Now, the other thing I wanted to touch on, there are some other fixes in this build, by the way. They're listed in the release notes. We fixed the numbers here because these weren't updating when you resized the window or when you clicked on here. They were staying out of sync. And the other thing we fixed here, if you've got a mouse with a scroll bar, it was computing the width of the view incorrectly. So sometimes you would select this and it wouldn't really be on this. It would be slightly weird. Elements would think it was slightly wider because you had the scroll bar, and that was messing with setting the responsive controls. But that is fixed now. So if you have a scroll bar, we calculate for that, and if you don't, we still calculate correctly. So those are nice little bug fixes. Let me show you one other nicety. Now this is more of a dev thing we've added. Again, this was requested by you guys building custom components, and that was a way to name drop zones. So if I drop in a container, and let's set that to screen height. Oh no, that's the width there. Let's set it to screen height. And you can see now it has the words content underneath it and a little drop arrow. So that's telling you can drop content into there. And I've got a custom component here that I've built. And if I drop this in, you can see it says image on there. And that's because I've got a drop zone, zone 1, and the title, we've added a value there. The title is called image, but this is your drop zone. So you can title these. So if you're building custom components and you've got multiple drop zones, let's put 2 in there. I'm giving this a unique identifier here. So that's zone 1, that's zone 2. So, you know, you could have this as drop text here. And so anyone using your component, drop image here, this is just an example. You would know on your custom component, oh, okay, I need to drop an image there. And okay, yeah, well, I should drop text here because that's what the layout wants, you know. So you can add these titles. And that's very nice when you're building custom components, especially with a lot of drop zones. So yeah, that's that. So let me get back to, or let's move on to what we're going to work on next. So everything I've discussed there is in beta 12 that should be available now. And I just wanted to touch on our next priorities, which is not something we've really done in the past. We haven't really talked about what we're working on. But I thought it was important this time because it seems you guys really want to publish your sites, understandably. You've built these things, and there's a couple of things in Elements that is stopping you from doing that. And one of the annoyances is layering. Sometimes with the when you've got a modal or the gallery or the drop-down menus, things aren't layering correctly how you want them. We've got a solution for that. And we're going to implement it so it should just work for you. You won't need to do anything, but things will start to layer correctly. So if you have if you have the gallery with the light box, that will appear over the menu and over the other stuff that you want when it appears, and it won't be covered. So I know quite a few of you have reported that. So we're working on that. It's a little bit trickier than anticipated, but we think we have a solution. So hopefully that will be in there by next week, by the next beta. We'll see how we get on this week, and I'll certainly give you an update in next week's dev diary. The other thing we're working on is text editing, because that's the other big one. Because right now, this is very nice. You can edit in the web page, which is really cool because it's WYSIWYG. That's nice. But what we don't have is some controls in here to change, to make things italic and to make things bold. Now, I was using keyboard shortcuts there, and they've been in there for quite a while. We've just not exposed them or told anyone about them. So the text editing is more complete than it appears. What we need to work on now is adding some controls for these things, so you can make things bold, italic, and you can add links. And we've had an in-depth discussion about this internally again, and it's, rather than just adding controls, it's actually a bit more far-reaching than that, because you want to be able to style your content here. You want to be able to give this whole block of text a style, and you want to be able to say, in this block of text, my bold font is 800, but in this one I want it to be 700. So we're going to need to do a little bit of work in the theme studio, and that means changing some of these pre-built settings here. So text style will become font size, and that will just contain the size, so it won't contain these things. And then we're going to have a text style down here that covers more of these things, along with link colors, because one thing you don't want to do on a block of text here, you don't want to have to specify the link colors on every block, or make this a global to then have to, just so you can keep these colors the same, because you've got your link visited, link hover, link color. So those things, you don't want to set them every time you do a block of text. You actually want to set them globally and be able to set them up as styles, like a style sheet. So that we've got some work to do there, and to make it easier and nicer to use. Sorry if that didn't make too much sense. It will do once we've implemented it, and it'll be very, very nice, and you'll be like, yes, this is the way to work. This is lovely. So we'll have these controls to make things bold and link things, and we did talk about making them float or attach them to the top of here, but then we thought, well, if you've got a lot of content, they start to, if you're editing content down here, those controls are off the screen, and then you need to keep them on screen, and then they're floating, and if they're floating, then they get in the way of your text. And things get a little bit messy. So what we're going to do, we think we're going to place the controls natively in the footer here or in the header, so that when you go to edit a block of text, you'll get the icons to make things italic, and when you highlight words. So a bit like Rapid Weaver Classic is, you get the little toolbar down the bottom where you can style things. So that's where we're going with that. We're going to be working on these things this week. I don't know if they'll make it into next week's beta, but that's what we're going to work on, and I will give you an update in next week's dev diary. All right, thank you for watching this video, and thank you for all your feedback. And if there's anything else that is blocking you from publishing your website live, I know we've said not to do that at the moment because things are going to change and break, but what we want to do is aim to fix those things that would allow you to publish a finished site. So yeah, let us know what else you need finished up so that you can do that. Yeah, all right. Thank you for watching this video. And please leave all your feedback in the comments below on the forum. Really helpful, and we can have a discussion there about any questions you have. Alrighty, have a good week, and I will see you again soon. All right, thanks for watching this one. Cheers, bye.